Welcome, dear listeners, to a brand new chapter in the Sisters of the Shire podcast, where the magical realms of J.R.R. Tolkien come alive.
I'm Ashley, your guide through Middle-earth, and I'm thrilled to kick off this season's journey into the captivating pages of The Unfinished Tales.
Ooh, in our previous season, we unraveled the intricate tapestry, it really was, of the Silmarillion. But now we are plunging headfirst into the unexplored narratives that lie within the pages of The Unfinished Tales.
I've already traversed its tales, and I'm eager to weave these untold stories for my co-host and ever-curious friend and cousin, Abby, who is about to experience this literary adventure for the first time.
So whether you're a seasoned Tolkien expert or just embarking on the quest to discover his lesser-known works like I am, this podcast is your sanctuary for immersive discussions and delightful insights. Our goal is to not only share the joy of Tolkien's creations, but also to spark new understanding and, of course, have a lot of fun, because that's what we're here for, to make it fun, with us, your fellow Tolkien enthusiasts.
So gather round, fellow Tolkien nerds, as we embark on this exciting exploration of the unfinished tales. Let the tales unfold, the discussions ensue, and the magic of Middle-earth enchant us once again. Without further ado, let the adventure begin. Let's go! So, how are you, Abby?
The germs got me. The germs.
No, surely not. Say it ain't so.
It's my time. Leave me. Go on without me.
Take this bottle of airborne.
Yeah. Tell my husband I love him. That reminds me that we were playing laser tag with my brother-in-law, and he would pretend that he was actually like dying whenever anybody shot him in laser tag, and he'd like hit the wall and like slide down, and he'd be like, he'd grab me, he's like, tell my wife I love her. And I'm like, you tell her yourself. And I like pick him up. we can do this. So that's me right now. I'm rallying. I'm trying to feel better because I swear my body's like, oh, you've got plans this weekend? No. Your throat's going to be on fire. Your throat's going to be on fire. No, I have my daughter's mythical magical birthday party tomorrow, and so I need to be at my best. Because
where's a fairy godmother when you need her?
I know. For real. Maybe that's who I should be tomorrow. I was trying to think of a character I could be at the party. Maybe I could be at the fairy godmother. Or I was going to be the queen or the witch that lives in a hut in the forest.
I think you should do, what's it? Oh my gosh, musical. Your sister was in it.
Into the Woods?
Thank you. Yes. You should be the witch from Into the Woods.
No, I want to be the witch from Brave, where she's like, I'm a witch. Oh, yeah. You're a witch.
Too many unsatisfied customers.
Oh, that's lovely. That is.
Yeah. It's a good vibe. That's a good vibe. That's like grandma goals right there.
Just a crazy old lady in the woods. That's me. It's my future. Anyway, but last night was the worst of it. I'm hoping. So
yeah.
Let's hope that tonight or today I'll feel better, because I have to do a lot of stuff. Plus, I'm getting my hair cut today, and I don't know if you guys understand this feeling. Like, first of all, it took me weeks to get my hair cut, and now I'm like, I gotta feel like when you get a haircut, you're on the that like teeter-totter of like, is this gonna emotionally break me and wreck me for the rest of the day if something goes wrong, or am I gonna be feeling it? I'm gonna be feeling myself and be like, oh my gosh, look at me, new year, new me, a new haircut. So it's like that, what side of the line is it gonna land on? But if I feel crummy, I don't want it to be that I'm going towards the like, it ruined my day, because I've waited so long for this haircut.
I feel that. I have cried in my car many a time. Many a time.
Yes. Yes.
I think we've all been there.
So I know. I know. I know. Anyway, so wish me luck, everyone. I'm
Good
in a
luck.
very emotionally delicate time of my life. I'm going to go get a haircut. While not feeling very good. We can do this. Anyway, so I'm prepping for my daughter's birthday party, which is like fantasy Renaissance fair themed, which I'm so excited for.
So cool.
She's gonna be a unicorn, I think. So
I mean,
she
is
has a
she
unicorn.
anything else in life? I mean,
No. Well, we call her our Lunicorn because her name is Luna, so she's a Lunicorn. And she has a full body unicorn like outfit, so yeah.
I mean, done deal.
I know.
Done and done.
I know. I'm excited. I told the other girls' moms that they could dress up. So I want to see if any of them actually come dressed up. So
I would be like, that would be fun, but no.
yeah. One of the moms, who's a fellow nerdy mom, she's like, I have a dragon costume I could wear. And I'm like, go for it, girl. I was like, you have a dragon costume, an adult dragon costume? Go for it.
I would be like, first of all, I have so many questions.
Yeah, I know. I know.
When
I
did
think
you
it's
buy
like
it?
one of those like
Where did you buy it?
onesie
Yeah.
like pajama things, but I'm like, go for it. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna let
Sorry, that doesn't
let
fall
your
within the
nerd
theme.
yeah, let your nerd emerge, right? Let's
Oh,
just
yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So
We
I've got
learned
a
a
no
lot
play with
last
me
week.
today. So
Oh, yeah.
we got a time
Ticking
limit
time
on
bomb. Yeah.
ticking time bomb over here.
Yep. Pray the Moana entices him for long enough.
I know.
So, what did you learn last week?
Didn't we talk about who were in Tuor's ladies? Well, they're moms.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So it's Hurin and Hur, or the brothers.
Tuor,
Hur and Tuor are father and son.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the wives of Hur and Hurin.
Hurin. Yes, we did talk about them. Hurin married Morwen, which is Turin's mom. And Hur married Rian, which is Tuor's mom.
Which one said?
Rian is the gentle soul.
So Rianne is the one whose husband got shot in the face, right?
Yes. Yes.
And she's like, he's still alive. I have faith. And people are like, oh, honey, no, no. I saw him get shot. And she's like, no, he's still alive. I'm going to go find him. And they're like, oh, no.
Mhm.
And then she's like, here, take my baby. I can't take this. I can't take this with me. Honestly, I feel like she kind of mentally broke. Like she was just
Yes.
like, you know, when people kind of mentally check out and they don't hear anyone anymore, like if someone's trying to talk to them and trying to talk sense into them, they're like, oh, no, okay, well, I'm going to go. Like, I'm not really listening to anything you're saying because my heart is broken so much that it broke my brain as well.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like it's important to emphasize how different Morwen and Rianne were. Because Morwen, you will find very different in the next section after this one. Because, oh boy, very different. Rianne is a sensitive soul. So she wasn't built for times of war, let's just say.
Oh, sweet angel.
Yeah, sweet angel. We also did learn about... so after... Rianne went off to find, it's funny, she calls him her lord, which I like, cute, but also like, honey, do we need to talk about things? Like,
yeah.
how's that marriage?
What's the age difference here?
Yeah. So she goes off to find Hur, and of course she just finds the Hill of the Slain after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, and she just falls on it and dies. Sorry, Rianne, yeah. Tuor is then raised by the Grey Elves, mainly Anael, who is their leader. He grows very strong and fair and valiant, and he has golden hair like the men of his house do, and he is just Thor in the making. Uh, then the Easterlings start setting up shop in Northwest Brilarian because that was like their compensation for turning on the men in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. And they become very oppressive and take over things and, force women to marry them and take their lands and put people in slavery. And it's just not a great time.
Ooh, not a
And they
cool
especially do
scene.
not, yeah, they especially do not like the men of the House of Hodor, which is Hur and Hurin and Tuor, because that was their former like ancestral land, and they're like, it's ours now, mwahaha. So
Mm.
Anael, the leader of the Grey Elves, leads his people into the caves of Androth. Not the best life ever, but they're surviving at least. And Tor just kind of grows up with these tales of his father, of his people's, enslavement, basically. And he just wants to avenge his people. And he starts learning how to wield weapons from the Grey Elves. And, he's 16 now, and he starts getting some angst out in there. And, he's like, I want to kill me some orcs. And everyone's like, calm down. Um, and then he hears about the Gate of the Noldor and about his future father-in-law Turgon, and he's just filled with like ooh, what's that? And I have a feeling that might have something to do with my destiny.
It has a part of a
So
locket in it, and it matches his
yeah.
locket. He's like, "What?"
Or like every time that someone says the Gate of the Noldor, just like those, what are those called? The chimes just start
Oh yeah,
like,
it's like,
what
"Oh
is that?
no, yeah." It's like in the Parent Trap where there's half of a picture of and he has the other half, like it fits together, like in the Parent Trap.
Oh,
But
so
it's that guy stabbing an orc. He just had like the orc being stabbed part, and he's like,
sure.
oh, and then he fits it together. And he's like, oh, it's this guy.
So Tuor really wants to go find the Gate of the Noldor and find out Turgon, find out all about Turgon. Because he's like, my father knew him. My father died to, save him. He's got to owe me something. It's got to be something connecting in there. But Anael's like, sorry, dude, no one knows where Turgon is because he's like got this secret hidden kingdom. But if you go with us to the south, to the havens where Círdan's at, maybe they might know something. And I can also keep an eye on you. But also, you could ask where Turgon's at. And he's like, okay, I'll go with you. So that's kind of
Hmm.
where we left things.
Okay.
We did also talk a teensy bit about Tolkien writing this section before we did all that. Just that it was kind of interesting that this was like the first of the tales that he wrote about the First Age, which I thought was like, of all the tales, okay, this one, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it in like army huts during World War One. Possibly Fever Dreams might have had a play in that. He wrote multiple versions over the years. One version made it into the Silmarillion, which is the very shorter version, and then like this version is very different, but still has some of the same tones and key events. But this tale ends with his arrival in Gondolin, whereas the Silmarillion one goes on and on after that, in the fall of Gondolin and everything. So
Okay.
yeah. So just in case you guys didn't hear the last episodes, or in case you decided to change your mind about maybe listening to the Silmarillion version, our episode covering the Silmarillion version starts with episode 42 and maybe a tad of 43. And if you want to read it from the Silmarillion yourself, you can find this section in chapter 23 of Tuor and the Fall of Gondolin. So
Whoa.
if you want to pause here, go do that and come back. Okay, welcome
We're
back.
giving you
All right.
homework.
Yes. So Tuor and Anael are about to leave their caves of Androth Androth with the other Grey Elves in search of better lives in the havens to the south with Círdan. Unfortunately, while the orcs were too scared of the elves to get too close to the caves of Androth, they did keep an eye on the surrounding areas. And sure enough, just as Tuor and the Grey Elves start making their journey, they are attacked by a group of orcs and Easterlings. So, didn't get very far. Now, the Grey Elves managed to scatter and escape. But Tuor, on the other hand, he's just had all that teenage angst building up for a while. Maybe he hasn't, gotten to hit anyone for a while. And he's just found his first outlet. Quote.
I feel like he's like Drax. When they're like,
yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to go attack something. They're like, Drax, come on.
Yes. That is actually a pretty good, yeah. Quote, Tuor's heart was kindled with the fire of battle, and he would not flee. But boy as he was, he wielded the axe as his father before him, and for long he stood his ground and slew many that assailed him. But at the last, he was overwhelmed and taken captive.
Who would have seen that coming, huh? One dude against all these orcs and that he's never fought before ever.
Yeah. Also, just pulling a little similarity in here, like it might not be father like son because, we don't know how hard Tuor would have fought because he got shot in the eye, but maybe father or son like nephew or nephew like uncle. Because
it's a family, a familial trait, maybe.
Yes. Because Hurin sure as heck fought for his life until he was overwhelmed and had to be captured and tied into a sack and carried away back to Angband by Balrogs. So very similar, just like, I don't tell me the odds, just I'm going to fight and kill as many. So after
it reminds me of that scene. You just reminded me of it. The scene where like Han Solo runs. And he's just like ah.
Yes.
He's like running into all the stormtroopers, and he's like ah.
No, I think I equate that scene with Fëanor trying to take on all the Balrogs by himself.
He's like, oh dang it, oh darn.
Yes. All right, so after he's captured, Tuor is taken to an Easterling chief named Lorgan, who claimed to rule all of Dor Lomin, which is, of course, Tuor's ancestral lands.
That's a big claim.
I know. And he took Tuor to be his slave, hard and bitter then was his life. For it pleased Lorgan to treat Tuor the more evilly, as he was of the kin of the former lords, and he sought to break, if he could, the pride of the House of Hodor.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he's got it out for Tuor specifically. But I have this thought, and it keeps coming up as I am reading this, and then also like knowing what's going to happen in the next section with Turin. How do you think Turin and Tuor would have done if their spots were switched?
So Turin, who was he raised by?
He was raised by his mom for like a hot minute, and then he was raised by Thingol and Doriath, and then Beleg.
So, I mean, they kind of had the same upbringing. Like, their moms left, their dads left, and then they got raised by elves.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I feel like Turin was a little bit more level-headed, like a little bit more from the beginning, and then he started running away, remember? So I think it's a familial, it runs in the family. Familial trait to be this like hot-headed, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
You don't know me, Dad. You're not my dad. Yeah. Don't tell me what to do. I don't know. Similar.
So when I think of Tuor, obviously we've made the Thor reference before. So just kind of like, yes, headstrong, but also very courageous and very noble, for lack of a better word.
Like Thor.
And like Thor. And Turin, I just came up with the similarity like just now. And it's not the best one, but it's the one I'm thinking of right now, is more like Bucky, like Winter Soldier, how he is strong, he is valiant, but he's also a little dark and twisty.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a past,
And
you
you
know.
don't know me.
Yeah, and like that,
You
yeah.
don't know
You
who
don't know
I
me.
am.
Life's not fair.
I've had a hard life, man. My
Yeah,
mom left me.
yeah.
And my
So,
dad.
I mean, just throwing that out there. So,
I see it. But it is a very common trait in that family to be like,
yes,
I can do it on my own.
yes. But
I'm
like, I guess the main
strong.
question I have is, would Turin have broken before Tuor broke?
I don't know. He seems a little bit more emo to me. Like he would
Right?
like break down.
Right? That I guess is my
Hmm.
point, because did Tuor break from Lorgan's, cruelty? No, he did not. He stood firm. Quote, Tuor saw wisdom and endured all pains and taunts with watchful patience, so that in time his lot was somewhat lightened, and at the least he was not starved, as were many of Lorgan's unhappy thralls. For he was strong and skillful, and Lorgan fed his beasts of burden well.
Oh.
So, like, I don't think Turin would have like put up with the taunts. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like he would have mouthed off.
Yeah. Sassy.
Is what I'm saying. I feel like Tor, took it and just bided his time, and where Turin probably wouldn't have. Is all I'm saying.
Mm.
Another interesting thought is that, Tor has grown up among the Grey Elves his entire life. And now, during this time of enslavement, he's among other thralls. And these thralls are most likely other men, women, and children of Dorlumen.
Sad.
Maybe they're not his family, but maybe they knew his father or mother, or even like his grandparents or uncles or whatever. So I wonder if they knew who Tuor was, or if they like maybe even resented Tuor if they did know, like, you got to live amongst the elves while we've been enslaved all our lives.
Did she go to him and did she go to the elves when she was pregnant though? Or did she go
Pregnant.
like so they knew she was pregnant, but they didn't know what he
Or
looks
maybe,
like?
I mean, they make it clear throughout the book, like, oh, you have blonde hair, you're House of Hador. Like, it's
Oh,
like
it's
a,
like the Game of Thrones
yes,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Um, so like, do they know who he is? Did he even talk to them and tell them who he was? Because like in a different world, if like the Battle of Unnumbered Tears was won, Tor could have been these people's next like lord.
Oh.
So I mean, just an interesting thought, like of how maybe that dynamic was, or did he just keep to himself? And I don't know, just something I had never really thought about before. But Tor is a thrall for 3 years. So now he's about 19 years old.
Does that
Quote,
just mean slave?
yeah, thrall. Well, and
Because in my
it's
brain,
interesting.
a thrall's like a zombie, like a
So,
under a spell kind of situation.
right. So I think thrall in this case does mean slave. But if they are a thrall of Morgoth, who's got like
Powers.
magic powers,
Get powers.
then it's more like a brainwashing kind of
Mm.
thing.
I think of we're throwing a lot of Marvel in today, but I think of when
Right.
Loki
Yes, yes,
makes those
yes, yes.
people under
Mm-hmm.
his control. That's what I think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tor is a thrall or a slave for 3 years. So he's now about 19. Quote, He was come now almost to his full stature, taller and swifter than any of the Easterlings. And being sent with other thralls on an errand of labor into the woods, he turned suddenly on the guards and slew them with an axe and fled into the hills.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa! He shot a shot and he took it and he escaped. But again, what about these other thralls with him? Like, were they able to escape? Did he even try to help them? I don't know.
Were they chained together?
Yeah.
Were they chained together?
I don't know. Was it an Oh Brother Where Art Thou instance where you had to like talk him into it?
Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Well, they're all chained together.
Who elected you leader of this outfit?
Yeah. Oh, we might be getting an Oakley soon.
Oh. So Tuor escapes. And the Easterlings do try to hunt him down, but they're not super successful because they try to hunt him down with their hounds. But apparently they didn't realize that Tuor is actually like friends with all of the hounds. So when the hounds did manage to find Tuor, they just would, quote, like fawn upon him. They're like, oh, it's you! Like, and they just like, lick his face.
They
and,
like jumped on him and were like,
yeah,
it's him, it's our friend.
Yeah. And then at Tuor's command, they would just go back home. So not super effective.
I don't know you, but I love you.
Yeah. So Tuor does manage to escape and eventually makes it back to the only home he has ever known, the caves of Androth. And he just lives there by himself for a while. And by a while, I mean, quote, for 4 years, he was an outlaw in the land of his fathers, grim and solitary, and his name was feared.
Whoa, do you think he had like awesome beard?
Awesome beard. Also, I want to know all of his outlaw nicknames. I want to see his wanted posters.
They never get the nose right.
I know, right? So he's lived in a solitary cave for about 4 years. So he's about 23 years old now. And, his name was feared. So he's got a reputation for killing Easterlings. So much so that they put a price on his head. Also, I want to know how much they thought his head was worth.
With beautiful golden hair.
I know, right? But what was interesting, and this is one reason why I'm actually loving reading the Unfinished Tales, is when we read this chapter in the Silmarillion, I thought that Tuor just wanted revenge for his enslavement, for his people, just out of angst, just wanted to cause mischief and, be a thorn in the side of Lorgan. But in this version, at least, that isn't quite the case.
Oh,
Quote,
okay.
Tuor's journeys were not made for the purpose of vengeance. Rather, he sought ever for the gate of the Noldor, of which Anael had spoken. But he found it not, for he knew not where to look, and such few of the elves as lingered still in the mountains had not heard of it. So he's not out to try and make trouble. He's just on these quests to find this gate of the Noldor, and just in his attempt to survive and protect himself, he has become an outlaw.
So he just is dealing with the cards he's been dealt.
Yeah. Quote, now Tuor knew that though fortune still favored him, I'm still alive, I guess. Yet in the end,
by some cruel twist of fate, I'm still here.
Yet in the end,
Wilson? Wait, does he have a Wilson? Guys, does he have a Wilson volleyball?
What would be the item that would be a Wilson? Okay.
Didn't Turin have something? Didn't Turin have?
It wasn't. It wasn't Turin. It was Gwyndor. Yeah, that we said the squirrels were a squirrel skull or something.
A squirrel, like a puppet of a squirrel's skeleton.
Yes, I think we named it Becky. Do you think we named it Becky, Oakley? I think it was Becky. Okay, so he's in a cave. So in my head,
Oakley, what do you think Tuor's friends, his imaginary friend's name? What would it be? fox.
Okay. Maybe it was a fox. I think
Maybe
he drew a face on a rock.
yeah, yeah. He got some like charcoal from a fire and he drew a face on a rock.
Yes. 100%.
It's like a
So
really crude little smiley face. A happy little guy.
uh, I'm like I'm I'm toying between the Wilson analogy and the I Am Legend analogy. Fred, you better tell me if you're real.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Being stuck in a cave for 4 years, you might lose it. But he was tortured for 3 years, so
Yep.
maybe he's already lost it. Maybe this is grounding for him. Maybe he's just going the other direction and he's like becoming a sane person. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Quote, now Tuor knew that though fortune still favored him, yet in the end, the days of an outlaw are numbered and are ever few and without hope. So what have we learned from this, Oakley? Don't be an outlaw if you can help it, right?
But outlaws get cool names.
Outlaws do get cool names. And I was thinking in my head, I had just watched something about Bonnie and Clyde, and Billy the Kid. And I'm thinking like other outlaws and like Robin Hood. We always hear about the thrilling parts of their lives, but I'm sure there's a lot of downtime, a lot of caves for them, essentially. And that's they didn't die old. We'll just say
they went down in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. So Tuor's like, if I want to live past 30, I should probably change lifestyles. And this is, go ahead.
So is he by himself in this cave?
Yep. Completely by himself. He says it makes it sound like there's maybe people like elves that he comes across in his wanderings trying to find the gate of the Noldor, but they don't hey, let's go live together. It's like, okay, I'm going back to my cave now, bye.
He's an introvert now.
Yeah. And this is when talk of Tuor's destiny comes up. And maybe it was something that his mother, Rianne, had said. She did say that, I feel like his life is basically going to help the men and elves of the world. Maybe the elves repeated that to Tuor throughout his childhood. But something that I feel is central to Tuor's story, especially in this beginning part, is that he always knew he was meant for more.
That's what fueled him. It's what fueled him.
Yes. Quote, his heart urged him ever to great deeds. So he's like, I can be more. So this is when he decides he doesn't want to live in a dirty cave all by himself anymore. He is going to go out into the world to fulfill his destiny. But how does one fulfill their destiny?
How does one save a miracle? That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. He's been trying to do that very thing for the last 4 freaking years. Okay, in order to fulfill my destiny, I have to find the gate of the Noldor. To find the gate of the Noldor, I have, he just is in this circle.
He's just, I'm back at square one, dang it. Ah!
Yeah. I also see on his wall a map that he's made, it's not here, it's not here, with all these X's.
Yeah. Come on.
Well,
the squirrels told me it'd be over here. They were wrong.
No, the foxes.
Yeah.
Well, the way that Oakley, how do you fulfill your destiny?
I know. You don't know.
You don't know. Well, neither did Tuor, because the only way he is able to fulfill his destiny is he had to get help.
Hey, you know what? That's a big grown-up thing to do.
Right?
Is to say, hey, I need help.
Yep. Quote, herein it is said, the power of Ulmo was shown, for he gathered tidings of all that passed in Beleriand, and every stream that flowed from Middle-earth to the great sea was to him a messenger, both to and fro. And he remained also in friendship as of old with Círdan. And at this time, most of all, Ulmo gave heed to the fates of the House of Hodor. For in his deep counsels he purposed that they should play great part in his designs for the succor or assistance of the exiles. Remember, the exiles are the Noldor.
Are they really exiles, or are they just hiding now? You know?
They're considered exiles as in, like, from the perspective of Valinor. To Valinor, they are the exiled ones. So I wonder how and when Ulmo knew the House of Hodor was, like, the one. Because if you remember, Ulmo did help Hurin and Hor, like, a long time ago. And, you know, he just doesn't do that. He doesn't do that for just anyone. Like, I'm not sure if he would do it for me or for Oakley or for you.
Hey, you never know. Oakley's pretty cool.
Never know.
He's got blonde hair.
He does have the golden hair. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But, you know, I didn't hear Ulmo, like, helping Beren or helping Haleth. Like, there are certainly times where, like, they could have used help. So why the House of Hodor? Like, why? I'm curious to know.
You gotta think for blondes.
Yeah, maybe. He's
like, you know what? I like it. He's got a little punch card. He's got a little punch card of how many humans he can help. And he's like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, get out of jail free for this blonde guy. Another helping out for this other blonde guy.
Or he has like a condition card, like, or it's, oh no, I know what it is. So he has this contract with the other Valar. Like, you can't just save humans willy-nilly, Ulmo, okay? We know you like them and all, but you can't just save them whenever you want. And here are the terms and conditions. Yeah. You can't help humans that have, you know, those humans that are like dark-haired, you know, those humans. And he's like, wait, loophole! Like, these aren't dark-haired humans. Or like, figured it out. So Ulmo isn't just getting all his news about Tuor just through his water networks, which is an amazing thing in and of itself. I want to know all the details on how that works. But also he gets updates from Círdan. And Círdan just got a major update about Tuor's life because Anael and some of the other Grey Elves made it to the the South Havens. So they made it. Yay! Some of them lived. So
Hooray! Some people lived in this book.
Yay! So, like, Anael is telling Círdan. Círdan's telling Ulmo. Like, it's like this gossip chain that's like, okay.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear?
Did you hear all about this tour guide? Okay, so first of all, House of Hodor. So good vibes there. Real strong, like really, really tall, like taller than like anyone, like the tallest. Maybe a bit of a hothead, but you know, I feel like we could use that to our favor, right? Right? Okay.
Passion. It's passion.
Passion. Yeah. So if you are looking for something for that kid to do, now would be the time. And so Ulmo's like, okay, I got all the intel I need on this tour guy. I think I know him. And, you know, things are getting pretty bad in Dorloman with Lorgan and all that crap. So, you know what? It is time. I am going to give Tuor a sign. And we'll find all about that sign next week because it literally like had a good stopping point here, and so I'm just going with it. Sorry, a bit of a shorter episode today, but
I really wish Ulmo was like the ocean in Moana, where you just like threw people, like he just like grabbed him and just like throws him in the place that he needs to be, like in Moana.
Oh, that may or may not be happening later.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
Perfect. My dreams are coming true.
Right? So be sure to follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Become a patron and join our Patreon at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Like our dwarf friend of the Shire, Dan, and our elf friends of the Shire, Krishane and Tom. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really, really appreciate it.
We love
Oakley,
you guys.
can you say thank you, Dan?
Say
thank you, Dan.
Say thank you, Dan. Say thank you. Oh, he's frozen. He's got stage fright.
Fine. Okay. And you know what? Not everyone can do the Patreon thing. We get it. If you can't do that, if you could just please do us a teensy favor and just give us a rating on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on.
Or share us with your friends.
Or share us with your friends. Yeah. We are now up to 13,000 plays. What?
Whoa. We were on the same octave right there.
Well, we are in harmony together. So, and then the only world news I have today is Philippines. Who's listening in the Philippines right now? Because they just went through a binge session because they went from 39th to 36th. They just overtook Ukraine and Pakistan and Serbia. You get them, Philippines.
Whoa.
Maybe tiny, but you are mighty, it sounds like.
Like we said, the only time it's acceptable for taking over other countries in world domination is bumping up on who's the most percentage of listeners on our podcast. That's the only time we'll allow it, okay?
Only time. And then,
well, thank you for teaching me today.
You're welcome. I'm happy to do it.
Also, what's up with these kids? Am I right? Who's raising these kids? These Hurins and Turins and whatevers. Huh?
I feel like Anael and Beleg would have some stories to tell. Like, oh, you fostered a man? So did I. Did he ever try doing this? Well, no, but he did do this one time.
Why did I want you to call him a man cub? Like in
oh man, yes.
From Jungle Book. You fostered a man cub? I also fostered a man cub. Was he a horrible toddler? Yes, he was. I can only imagine how they were as toddlers and children.
Right? Mm-hmm. In a cave. Trying to keep a toddler in a cave entertained.
Look, I found all these bats. No, rabies. Can we keep them?
And then they have to... And then they're not all used to to men, so they're like, "Can men get rabies? I don't think we can, but do men do? I'm not sure."
Yeah.
And they have the conversation. What do they eat?
Yeah.
Do they need
they just,
meat all the time?
They throw seeds at them like birds. Like, here, is this good? Is this what you want? Is this how humans grow? I don't know. But you have to think about it. Do you think it freaked them out how fast they grew as kids compared to elf kids?
For sure.
They're like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the heck? It reminds me
especially
again,
because they grew so tall.
Another Marvel reference is in the last Guardians when they were talking about how he's like, why would I want to go back to Earth? Or he's talking about going back to Earth, and he's like, humans die at like 55. And then Mantis is like, does that mean you're gonna die? And he's like, do you think I'm 55? That's what it reminds me of. I think of like Mantis being the elf. So like, are you gonna die soon? You're so old.
Mm-hmm.
He's been practicing. He calls him Honey Poo, like Winnie the Pooh, but he calls him Honey Poo. Can you say, oh, bother? Can you do it? It's so cute. Say, oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
Come on. Oh, bother. You're shy today. Gotta hit that
you do, Oakley?
Honey.
No, honey.
Say, oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
Well, thank you all for being here. It's been a wonderful day. There's sunshine coming through my window right now. Oh my gosh.
Don't
Guys,
make
if
any
you don't
sudden
live in the
movements.
I was like, if you don't live in the Pacific Northwest, this is a rare occurrence in the middle in February 2nd. There's sunshine coming through my window. Anyway. Yes.
Until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast, and we're so glad you could join us today, and we hope that you join us next time. Bye!
Bye.